our second session of subject-verb agreement. We have already done a session of subject, verb, and agreement. And in our previous session, we have already discussed all the basics related to subject, verb, and agreement, the relationship that exists in subject and verb. See, the main relationship that exists between a subject and verb, dear students, is if our subject is singular, our verb is also singular. If our subject is plural, our verb is also plural. So our verb depends totally on the subject. Subject singular, verb singular. Subject plural, verb plural, right? So this is what we have learned, what we have read in our last section. We have also learned 3 to 4 words of vocabulary in our last part, and now we are taking the same subject verb agreement in bit details, right? So here are total 15 sentences on your screen. So the heading says find errors if any. Okay, and the sentences are 1/3 of the tasks have been completed, 1/3 of the girls have come, the rest of the work have been completed by him, the rest of the students are not coming, 40% of the work is done, 40% of the students have cleared the exam, most of the wisdom come from conscience, most of the students were present yesterday, some of the boys are playing outside, some of the work are pending, half of the class are present, half of the students are present, lots of people are applying for this job, lots of work have to be done in order to achieve the progress. A lot of students are giving this exam. Okay. See, there are total 15 sentences in front of you and the heading says find errors if any. Okay. So before discussing about these sentences, before going to correct them, I just want to tell you a basic concept, a very basic concept about nouns, right? So what do you mean by noun? How you define noun? See, always remember a single thing, always learn, always do not forget this thing. Nouns are naming word, right? Name of anything or anyone. Name of anything or anyone is noun. Name of a factory, name of a country, name of a person, name of an institute, name of a feeling, anything. Name of anything or anyone is basically noun, right? So noun is on a broader level divided in 2 parts. Countable noun and uncountable noun. On a broader level, noun is divided into 2 parts, countable noun and uncountable noun. Now, countable nouns are further divided into 2 parts. Singular countable noun and plural countable noun. Okay, before discussing about singular countable noun and plural countable noun, let me clear you one thing, that countable nouns, as the name itself suggests, my dear students, countable nouns are those nouns which we can count. Countable nouns are those nouns which we can count, right? For example, book is one, books are more than one. There are 2 books, there are 8 bags, there are 16 geometry boxes, there are 14 notebooks, there are 12 tables, right? So anything which we can count or anyone we can count comes under the category of countable nouns. Now, countable nouns are of two types, singular countable noun and plural countable noun. One is singular countable noun and more than one is plural countable noun. Right? A single unit of anything or anyone is known as singular countable noun, that is one. Plural countable nouns are more than one. Now, book is singular. Books are plural. Boy is singular. Boys are plural. Now, you need to understand one thing, that singular countable nouns always take singular verb with them. On the other hand, plural countable noun always take plural verb with them. We have already discussed in our last class that verb totally depends on the subject. Subject singular, verb singular. Subject plural, verb plural. So in case of singular countable noun, dear students, verb used will be singular. And in case of plural countable nouns, verb used will be plural. Got my point? Okay. Now, uncountable nouns. Uncountable now. Uncountable nouns, as the name itself suggests, are those nouns which we can't count. Which we cannot noun. Those nouns are known as uncountable noun, right? Moreover, sometimes we can measure uncountable nouns. So now, what I mean, uncountable nouns can be measured, but uncountable nouns cannot be counted. For example, sugar, coffee, milk, glass, honesty, bravery, happiness. So all these nouns are uncountable nouns. We cannot count sugar. We cannot count bravery. We can't say there are 18 sugars in my coffee. What we'll say? I have much sugar in my coffee, or I just want some sugar in my coffee. I don't want sugar in my coffee, right? So uncountable nouns are those nouns which we cannot count. Now, what you need to learn, what you need to remember is that uncountable nouns always take singular verb with them. Uncountable nouns always take singular verb with them. Two types of noun, countable noun, uncountable noun, countable noun of further of two types, singular countable noun, plural countable noun. Singular countable noun take singular verb with them. Plural countable nouns take plural verb with them. Uncountable nouns are the nouns which we cannot count. Sometimes we can measure these nouns. And uncountable nouns also take singular verb with them. See, boy, a boy is going. Boy is singular. Similarly, boys are going. A boy is going. Boy is singular noun. We have taken singular verb with it. Is Boys are going. Boys, plural noun. Now the verb is also plural here, right? Similarly, milk is spilled on the table by the baby. Milk is spilled on the table by the baby. Now, milk is uncountable noun. We can never count milk. We can always measure milk. We can always measure milk. So, milk is uncountable noun and we are using singular verb with it. Milk is spilled on the table by the baby. Got my points? Singular countable noun, singular verb. Plural countable noun, plural verb. Uncountable noun, singular verb. Okay. Stars. What do you think? Just tell me, what do you think that stars are countable noun or uncountable noun? Stars are countable noun or uncountable noun? See, to your surprise, stars are countable nouns. Okay, okay. No need to get confused. No need to put pressure on your brains. Listen, I know every one of you must be thinking, how can ma'am say stars can be come under the category of countable nouns? As we all know, we can not count all the stars. Okay, okay. I do agree with you people. I do agree that we cannot count all the stars present in the sky. But you need to understand, if at night you are standing in your balcony and if the stars are there in the sky, then you can count those stars which are visible to you through your balcony. What I said, I know it is impossible to count all the stars, but if at night you are standing in your balcony, then you can count those stars that are visible to you through your balcony, right? If I'm standing here and if through my vision, as far as I can see, I can only see 8 stars, then I can count them physically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? It is impossible for us to count all the stars, but we can count the stars which come under our vision, which are covered by our vision. So that's why stars fall under the category of countable nouns. Stars fall under the category of countable nouns. We always write there are many stars. And we write there is much milk in the pot. There are many stars, there is much milk in the pot. You need to understand with stars, or you can say with the countable nouns, adjective many is used. And with uncountable nouns, adjective much is used. Is that clear to everyone? Okay. So now let us come to the okay. So let us consider this rule. This rule says if the words are 1/3 of, 3/4, the rest of, a quarter of, part of, 10% of, 20% of, most of, some of, half of, enough of, plenty of, a lots of, lots of. Slash should be here, right? Okay. So these are the words. The same words are on the upper side and the same words are on the lower side of the page. Now, if there are just two possibilities. There are just two types of nouns are possible after these words. One is uncountable noun and the other possibility is plural countable of noun. Either we can say 1/3 of the sugar, or we can say 1/3 of the boys. Is it possible for us to write 1/3 of the boy? We can't consider third part of a single boy, right? 1/3 of the boys, a number, plural number. So after these words, either uncountable noun are possible or plural countable noun are possible. Now, if these words are followed by uncountable nouns, then which kind of verb would they take? They will take singular verb, because we have read now only that uncountable nouns take singular verb with them. If these words are followed by plural countable noun, then they are going to take plural verb. Is it clear to everyone? There's nothing difficult here. You just need to understand that just two types of words are possible here, are possible after these words, two types of noun. And these two types of noun are either uncountable noun or plural countable noun. So if these words are followed by uncountable noun, then in that case we have to use singular verb. If the same words are followed by plural countable noun, then in that case we need to use plural verb. Now let us consider the same sentences. Before correcting the sentences, we need to, identify that whether these sentences have countable noun, plural countable noun, or singular countable noun. Okay. 1/3 of the task. Task is uncountable. 1/3 of the girls, plural countable. The rest of the work, you can never count. Work, uncountable. The rest of the students, singular countable. We know that either plural countable is possible, my dear students, or just uncountable nouns are possible. Singular countable noun is not possible here, which means the sentence is wrong, but let us just write singular countable. 40% of the work, again, uncountable noun. 40% of the student, again, singular countable noun, which is not possible. Most of the wisdom, you can never count wisdom. So, uncountable noun. Most of the students were present yesterday. Students, plural countable noun. Some of the boys are playing outside, plural countable. Some of the work, uncountable. Half of the class, uncountable. Half of the students, plural countable. Lots of people, plural countable. Lots of work, uncountable. A lot of students, plural countable. So these are the type of nouns present in the sentences. Now what we have to do? We just need to check the verb in response to the given noun. Noun is plural countable, verb should be countable. Noun is uncountable, verb should be singular. Got my point? 1/3 of the task. Your noun is what? Uncountable. Verb should be singular. So the correct sentence is 1/3 of the task has been completed. 1/3 of the girls have come. Plural countable noun, plural verb given. The sentence is correct. The rest of the work have been completed by him. Uncountable noun. Plural verb is given. So here it comes, has. The rest of the students are not coming. Now, this is something opposite here happening. The rest of the student, we can never use a singular countable noun after these words. So what we are going to do now, we are going to change the noun. 40%, sorry, the rest of the students, 40% of the work is done. Uncountable noun. Given, singular verb is there, the sentence is totally correct. 40% of the students have cleared the exam. Again, singular countable noun is not possible after these words, so we should change it to students. Now the given verb is plural, which is totally right. Most of the wisdom come from conscience. Okay. Now wisdom is uncountable noun, and in this case, your singular verb is going to be first form of verb plus S or es. So most of the wisdom comes. S, you need to put it after. Most of the students were present yesterday. Students, plural countable noun, were plural verb, correct. Some of the boys are playing is inside, outside, sorry. Boys, plural countable noun, are plural verb, correct. Some of the work are pending work, uncountable noun. So our verb cannot be plural here. Some of the work is pending. Half of the class are present. Half of the class is present. Class is an uncountable noun, so is half of the students are present. Students, plural countable noun, plural verb. Lots of people are applying for this job. People, plural countable noun, plural verbs. The sentence is correct. Lots of work have to be done in order to achieve progress. Work, uncountable noun. Now with uncountable noun, what we need? We need singular verb. So lots of work has to be done. A lot of students are giving this exam. Students, plural, are also plural. So I hope these sentences are clear to you. Okay, so these are the correct sentences. You can compare them. Coming to the next slide. Okay, find errors if any. The percentage of fertile lands is less in Rajasthan. The percentage of eligible student is less in this class. You need to learn one thing. Wait a minute. See, this sentence is a bit misprinted here. It is students, the percentage of eligible students. Listen, let me write a sentence on the screen. Apples are good. Okay, so I have written a sentence on your screen that apples are good. So if I talk about the subject in the sentence, then the subject here is apples, which is a plural word. And because it is plural, that's why our verb is what? Also plural. So our verb is also plural here. Apples are good. Okay, fine. The sentence is totally correct now. The quality of apples are good. So Guys, what do you think? Do you really think that the sentence is correct? The quality of apples are good. Do you think that the grammar is totally right here? The quality of apples are good. No, this sentence is wrong. How? See, always and always consider the main subject of the sentence while writing the verb for it. See, here we were talking about apples. What are good? Apples are good. Here we are talking about quality. Here the apples are plural. Verb is also plural here. Now, in the second sentence, your subject is quality. Now, here the quality is singular. Now, you're not saying that apples are good. You are saying the quality of apples, which means quality is good. So, quality is singular. So, the quality of apples is good. Clear? Now, coming to these sentences, the percentage of fertile lands. Plural now. Or you can say fertile lands. Okay, so here the sentences are written in a manner. The percentage of fertile land is less in Rajasthan. The percentage of eligible students is less in this class. Now, in both the cases, if I talk about in the case of fertile land, then fertile land is uncountable. Now, if I talk about eligible students, then eligible students is plural, countable. Now, right? So if it doesn't matter if the percentage is followed by uncountable noun or if the percentage is followed by plural countable noun. I'm repeating it. It doesn't matter if the percentage is followed by uncountable noun or if the percentage is followed by plural countable noun. In both the cases, you need to write singular verb after it. In both the cases, you need to write singular verb after it. Why? Because in this case, now your subject is percentage and not fertile land and not eligible student. A single uh, subject will always take singular verb with it. See, the percentage of if an uncountable noun or a plural countable noun is followed by singular verb is used, fertile land is less, eligible students is less. Okay. Find the errors if any. More than two men were present there, was present there. More than one man was present there. More men than one were absent. More than one city have hosted the game twice. More maps than one was made. More than two cities were destroyed. Okay, see. Now, in this point, we are basically discussing about more. See, if your sentence starts with more than one, then you tell me first, what do you think? If your subject follows the phrase more than one, then what do you think? Your subject should be singular or your subject should be plural? Just tell me. What according to you think that your subject should be singular and your subject should be plural? I know each and every one of you must be thinking that if I'm saying more than one, that means our subject is more than one, so our subject should be plural. This is what you people all are thinking, but you all are wrong here. See, before subject a word is mentioned, one. Is it possible for you to write a plural word after one? Is it possible for us? Is it possible for us that we would write 1 tables or more than 1 tables or more than 1 table? You need to understand, you need to learn, you need to remember, focus here that with one, with the word one, we can always and always just use a singular noun, a singular subject after it. We can never write a plural word with the one. So in the case more than one, if the subject is mentioned here, your subject should always be singular. Your subject should always be singular. And again, now your verb depends on what? Your verb depends on subject. So if your subject is singular, as simple as that, your verb should also be singular. So our one confusion is clear. What I have made you learn, I'm saying if more than one is followed by a subject, then that subject should always be singular, because before that subject, what is present? One. And one, with one, we can always write a singular subject. And if the subject is singular, in turn, your verb should also be singular. So I can say more than boy. More than one boy reads the newspaper. Now with one, subject is singular. If subject is singular, verb is also singular. Now, okay, this was the case of more than one. What if more than 2, 3, up to infinity, any number is there, and if the subject is subject follows it, this phrase. So now you just tell me, what do you think? The subject should be singular or the subject should be plural? Come on, think. Just try to learn. Just try to connect English, right? More than 2, 3, up to infinity. And if the subject is following this phrase, what do you think? Is it possible for us to write the subject in singular form here? Is it possible for us? No. Now here, the words are 2, 3 to infinity. Right? And these all are plural verbs. These all are plural words. And with plural words, we can never write 2 table. No, this is wrong. 2 tables. 8 girls. 10 boys. So with any new number except one, we always use a plural word. So now here, our subject should be plural. And if our subject is plural, we already know one thing, our verb is also going to be plural. Got my point? Again, one more thing which you need to learn here is, if your sentence starts in a way more, then your subject is written then one. Now, when we have read the first point, that more than one, then after more than one, the subject would be singular, right? Now, in this case, your subject is not written after one. We have not written your subject after one, right? Your subject is written after more. So, in case of more, your subject should be plural. And if your subject is plural, we all know very simple thing, your verb is also plural. Subject verb also depends on what? Verb also depends on subject. Subject singular, verb singular, subject plural, verb plural. Okay. So here we have learned three things, right? If your subject is written after the phrase more than one, then in that case, your subject should be singular, subject singular, verb is also singular automatically. If your subject is written after more than 2, 3, 8, 10,000, now all the words are plural except one, then in that case, your subject should be plural and in turn your verb should also be plural. Now, if your subject is following, is happening exactly after the more, then in that case, your subject should be plural and your verb is also plural. See, in the third point, one has no effect on your subject. One has no effect on your subject. That's why your subject is plural here, because it is written with more. It is preceded by more, and if subject is plural, verb is also plural. Let us see the rule in the next slide. See, the same thing is written. More than one. With one, singular noun, singular verb. More than two, three, plural noun, plural verb. See, why it is mentioned countable noun here? There is no need to mention, because plural is only possible in terms of what? Countable noun. Uncountable noun, we can't count them. We can't count them. There is no singular and plural of uncountable nouns, right? More, more, exactly after more, plural noun, plural verb. There's no effect of one on this noun. Right. Now let us consider, yeah, more than two. With two, plural should come, plural. Subject should also be plural, verb. More than two men were present, more than two men were present there. More than one. Now with one, your subject should be singular. More than one man was present there. So in this case, your subject is singular, verb is also singular. More. Now with more, plural, so more men and not man. Then one were absent. Verb is plural given here. More than one city have hosted the game twice. Now, more than one. With one, singular, city, right? Have is wrong. Now, with singular subject, verb is also be singular, has. More than one city has hosted the game twice. More maps with more, plural, right? Was with plural, verb should also be plural, verb. More than two cities were destroyed. Now two, plural, plural subject. So more than two cities were, right. The subject is plural, verb should also be plural, totally right. More, so all this thing is clear to you. We have read the case of more here, right? Let us move forward. Okay, so the correct sentence are given here. You can match them. See, try to open this slide. Try to come here only when you have solved these, right? Just take it step by step. Read your sentences first. Try to find the problems on your level only. First, read the sentences. Try to find the errors. Then read the rules. Then again read the sentences and correct them on the reading of your rules. Take it slow and you will learn. You will surely succeed. Right. So So let us consider, sorry, the find errors if any. It were you who called me on the phone. Okay, see. It were you who called me on the phone. It was I who is to be blamed. It is of no use. There was a house in this lane. There is a book and a phone in this apartment. There is many problems in this task. Now you need to understand there is a word known as introductory subjects. Introductory subjects in a sentence. Now, what are introductory subjects? Let us consider this. See, here, it, and there are three introductory subjects in the sentence. Now, let us learn first why do we call them introductory subjects, right? See, this is a sentence. I was late. I was busy yesterday. Right? Okay. Okay. Now, if I was busy yesterday means I was occupied somewhere. I don't have enough free time yesterday. Now, if I write in the same way, it was I who was busy yesterday. Now, in both the sentences, I is the one who is busy yesterday, right? But in this, I started the sentence with it. So the role of it here is to introduce I. It is not the subject here. It is the introductory subject. If I say I was busy yesterday, it has the same meaning. If I say it was I who was busy yesterday, both the lines have the same meaning. Just there is a difference between how we are speaking them. So in the second sentence, we are starting the sentence with it. It is introducing your main subject of the sentence. So in this way, when we start a sentence with it, when we introduce your main subject with the help of it, then that's why we call it as an introductory subject. Clear? Okay, now what you need to learn here is it is what? It is a singular word. It is a singular word, and singular verb always takes singular verb with it. Clear? Now, let us consider the case of there. There are many girls in my class. Many girls are in my class. Both have same meaning. Many girls are in my class. There are many girls in my class. Both the lines have same meaning. Now, again, I write one sentence. There is a boy working hard on the design. Or we can say a boy is working hard on the design. Both have same meaning. If I say there's a boy working hard on the design, or I can say A boy is working hard on the design. Both the lines have same meaning. Many girls are in my class. There are many girls in my class. Okay, now what in the previous sentences, your sentence was getting started through it, so it was introductory subject there. Now in these sentences, your sentence is getting started by there. Now there is the introductory subject here. Are you getting my point? There is the introductory subject here, right? So in this case, we have already learned that it is singular in nature and it always take singular verb with it. Now, in case of there, your verb depends on your main subject. When your main subject is girls, plural, there is taking are, plural verb. Here your main subject is singular. There is taking is here, singular verb. Got my point? In case of it, it is a singular word. It always takes singular verb with it. Fine. In case of there will take verb according to the main subject of the sentence. If your main subject of the sentence is singular, they will take singular verb. If your main subject of the sentence takes plural verb, they will be take plural verb. Plural subject, right? It were you. It, singular verb, was you. It was I who is to be blamed. Correct. It is of no use. Correct. There was a house in this lane. Correct. There is a book and a phone. There are two things, a book and a phone. Plural verb. There are. There is many problems in the task. Plural. There are. Yeah. See, sometimes we do not start the sentence directly with the subject. Instead, we use there, it initially in the sentence to introduce the main subject. Here, there and it are known as introductory subject of the sentence. As an introductory subject, it always takes singular verb. There, when used as an introductory subject, takes verb according to the noun that follows the verb. It was I who entered and it was you who called me on the phone. It is of no use. There was a house in this lane. There was a book. There are a book and a phone in this apartment. There are many problems in this task. So is this clear to you? Now let us consider. Okay. So as in the previous session, we have done 4 words, right? Now, in this session, we will be reading one word substitution. Got my point? See, one word substitution. One who can, okay, here is a word is missing here. One who can use either hand with ease. Okay. You need to know, or you know that some people are left-handy, right? They do each and every work through their left hands. Some people are right-handers. They do their work with right hands. Now, here what the line is mentioning, one who can use either hand with ease. So the people who can use both their hands with easily, right? So they are known as ambidextrous. They are known as ambidextrous. Okay. One who is bad in spellings, one who misspell the words, one who does not know the correct spellings of the word is known as cacographer. Cacographer. See, caco is the root word here. Caco means bad. Caco means bad. Right, there is another word. Cacophonous. Cacophonous is someone who has a bad voice. Who has a bad voice. Caco basically means something bad. One who can use either hand with ease is ambidextrous. One who is bad in spellings, cacographer. One who believes in fate. Okay, so the one who doesn't believe in doing things himself. He thinks that whatever is happening is because the God has written these things in his destiny, right? So one who firmly believes in fate is known as fatalist. A person who is controlled by wife. So if the wife says sit, he'll sit. If the wife says stand, he'll stand, right? So a person who is totally controlled by his wife, a person who totally follows the orders or needs of his wife is known as handpick husband. A person who is mentally ill, a person who is not stable mentally, who is ill mentally, is known as lunatic. He is known as lunatic, right? Now, a person who shows a great or excessive fondness for one's wife, right? A person who admires his wife a lot, a person who is fond of his wife a lot is uxorious. Now, the word starts from U, but never pronounce it uxorious. The correct pronunciation of this word is uxorious. The correct pronunciation is uxorious, right? Okay. Someone in love with himself, the one who admires himself the most, the one who thinks I'm the best, the one who thinks I do not need anybody's advice, I know everything, I'm the best, is the one who is known as narcissist. How do we pronounce this word? Narcissist. A person who speaks more than one language, a person who has commands over many languages. Poly. Poly is the root word here, dear students. Poly means many. Polynomials. You must have heard this word polynomials. A chapter in maths is there, I think, in 10th class. Polynomials are the are the equations which have more than one derivatives, like x, y, z. Since poly means many, so a person who speaks more than one language is known as polyglot. A man who is womanish in his habits. See, a person who is a male by birth, but his habits are womanish. He prefer wearing womanish clothes, or he prefer womanish habits, is the one who is known as effeminate. How we are going to pronounce this? Effeminate. One who runs away from justice. Okay. So one who never prefers justice, or one who is not interested in justice, one who runs away from it, is known as fugitive. So these are fugitive. Total 10 words. Ambidextrous, who can use both the hands. Cacographer, don't know the spellings. Fatalist, believes in fate. Controlled by wife, handpack, who is mentally ill, lunatic. Fond of one's wife, uxorious. In love with himself, narcissist. Who speaks more than one language, polyglot. Who is womanish in his habits, effeminate. Who runs away from justice, fugitive. Right? So these are the 10 new words which we have learned today. So this was all about today's session, right? In our next session, we'll be going to take the subject-verb agreement further, and we'll be solving the questions related to subject-verb agreement, right? Till then, bye-bye, take care, do revise, and of course, study hard.